we doing introduction like I think everyone does at I am? Do you do name or is it just, and I'll mention I'm a barrister? Because you've got to chuck it in all the time, you know.
Like you did the work.
It's got to be incessant. I'm Alex, I'm a lecturer in law at University College in Oxford, and I'm also a criminal barrister. Is class a basis on which people are discriminated against? If that's true, in what ways? And then, is there anything that legal analysis can offer us in that particular context? Hopefully, in order to make a positive difference in people's lives. I have, I guess, two things that I do mainly. On the one hand, we've got the academic side, but I'm also, on the other hand, a criminal barrister. What that means is I defend people who are accused of crimes. Because I'm gender non-conforming, it means that I had to make a decision about how I'd refer to myself in a court setting. So most people would say, I'm Ms. Smith, I'm Mr. etc. Whereas for me, I felt I had to pick MX, which is a gender neutral title, MX. It was a way for me to say, I'm happy to be in this setting, but I'm not going to sacrifice something quite important about myself simply to fit into your conceptual boxes. I grew up in West Yorkshire, so just outside of Bradford. And I can't say that, I grew up with a family of minors, like is the classic story of the north of England. But I certainly grew up in a place where my parents didn't go to university. I went to a state school, I have a regional accent, obviously. Until you move out of that space, for example, coming to university, you don't necessarily appreciate that other people grew up with a lot more money and a lot more advantage in terms of who they knew or what they knew. So I've been teaching since just after I left university. I have focused in particular on the issue of classism in the legal context. So class is something that we often think about. It's one of those things you always have, even if you don't use that word, when you meet people, you're assessing them, often subconsciously. But we're not very good at thinking about class in the context of discrimination. I want to draw on my experiences, thinking about when I came to Oxford and just some of the perceptions people had of me or some of the barriers that I faced, and I thought, let me use those experiences and the legal knowledge. What people sometimes forget about their background is they feel that they've got to put it to one side rather than embrace what it brings for them. I mean by that, if you can draw on your experiences, by actually embracing that side of yourself, you can be a much better scholar, a much better student, a much better friend. So what I would want to say is, as someone who does use those experiences in my academic work and in my legal work, I think just hold on to them because they are incredibly significant in forming you as a person and in carving out the type of future you want for yourself.